In March of this year, multiple properties owned by the music mogul Diddy Combs were raided by federal authorities in a highly publicized operation that left many shocked and filled with unanswered questions. At the time, the public had little information about the nature of the investigation, with only vague details emerging that it was related to an ongoing federal probe. The suddenness and the scope of the raid immediately sparked a frenzy of speculation, as reports about the chaotic condition of the properties and the items discovered inside began to surface. The sheer volume and variety of items found left many in disbelief and raised more questions than answers. The investigation became one of the most talked about events, largely due to the unexpected nature of the raid and the reputation of Diddy, who had long been considered one of the most influential figures in the entertainment industry. As the details of the raid emerged, Jaguar Wright, a vocal critic of the music industry, added fuel to the fire, claiming that Diddy might have been set up as a fall guy for larger, more powerful forces. She argued that Combs had become the acceptable monster of the moment, drawing comparisons to R. Kelly's fall from grace, suggesting that similar forces may have been behind both situations. Wright speculated that the authorities intentionally kept federal agents in the dark about the true target of the raid to prevent leaks or any premature disclosure about who was really being investigated. This theory implied that the authorities themselves might have been part of a broader conspiracy, intentionally omitting crucial details to keep the operation under wraps. According to Wright, some believe Diddy could have used secret tunnels, allegedly built into his properties, to evade capture or simply left before the authorities arrived. This theory was reinforced by Wright's claims that federal agents didn't know whose home they were raiding until the operation was already underway. Further adding to the intrigue was Wright's suggestion that Diddy's apparent connections within law enforcement could explain why the raid was so carefully coordinated. She hinted at the possibility that his influence with certain law enforcement officials might have played a role in keeping the operation discreet, ensuring that no leaks occurred. The suddenness and efficiency of the raid, Wright argued, pointed to a well-executed plan that caught everyone, including Diddy, off guard. This added a layer of mystery and conspiracy to the whole operation, leading to increased speculation about what exactly Combs was involved in and what the authorities were truly uncovering. The controversy surrounding Diddy deepened as rumors of his notorious parties, once thought to be extravagant, high-profile celebrity gatherings, began to take a darker turn. These events, which had long been the subject of media fascination, were now rumored to have a much more sinister side. Former bodyguard Gene Deal went on record claiming that the infamous freak-offs were not just extravagant parties, but orchestrated events where women were allegedly drugged without their knowledge. Deal described how perpetrators would often slip substances into the drinks of attendees, such as orange or cranberry juice, ensuring that even the most cautious women could be caught off guard and made vulnerable. This chilling revelation sparked widespread concern and added further weight to the allegations of abuse and exploitation at these parties. According to Deal, the victims were often unaware of what was happening until it was too late, with many falling victim to the predatory behavior of those in charge of the gatherings. As the investigation into Diddy's activities continued, further allegations and claims of cover-ups emerged. Many people believed that the full extent of the situation was being deliberately concealed to protect certain influential figures. Some high-profile individuals who were allegedly involved, such as Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group, had not been named in any official indictments or court documents, raising suspicions that powerful people were being shielded from the public fallout. Grange's name surfaced in a lawsuit filed by Rodney Jones, who alleged that Diddy had engaged in organized crime activities, including secretly recording events at his parties. Jones claimed that hidden cameras had been installed in various rooms of Diddy's homes, documenting everything that occurred, including compromising footage of executives, celebrities, and even politicians. The absence of these influential figures in any public charges has sparked widespread speculation about the true scope of the investigation and whether the powerful individuals behind the scenes are being protected from the consequences of their actions. The New York District Attorney's Office, however, took a firm stance on the allegations, publicly condemning Diddy for taking advantage of women and others over the years. The DA's statement described Combs as having a history of violent behavior toward those who refused to comply with his demands, including physical and verbal abuse. One particularly disturbing incident from 2016 was cited, in which Combs was allegedly caught on video kicking, dragging, and throwing objects at a woman in a Los Angeles hotel room. This and other incidents, according to the DA, paint a picture of a man who abuses power and influence to manipulate and harm others. When federal agents raided Combs' homes, they uncovered a staggering amount of evidence supporting the claims against him. Among the items seized were several firearms, as well as a large number of electronic devices containing videos and images related to the notorious freak-offs. These devices are believed to hold incriminating evidence of the events that took place during the parties, implicating a number of victims in various acts of abuse. But perhaps the most alarming discovery was the seizure of over 1,000 bottles of personal lubricant and baby oil, which were allegedly used during these parties. The sheer volume of these items suggests a level of premeditation and planning, further supporting the claims that the freak-offs were not just casual gatherings, but were, in fact, highly organized events with a sinister purpose. The discovery of these items and other evidence has left many people wondering just how deep the investigation into Diddy's activities truly goes and whether it will ever fully come to light. As more information continues to surface, it becomes increasingly evident that the current legal saga surrounding Sean Diddy, Combs marks one of the most significant and controversial chapters in his life. The sheer scale of the allegations and the vast amount of evidence collected thus far have painted a grim portrait of his actions over the years, shedding light on disturbing aspects of his behavior. While the legal proceedings are still ongoing, the revelations up until now have been shocking, leaving the public grappling with the implications. The raid of Combs' homes and the ensuing investigation have unearthed what many are now calling a Pandora's box of claims, not only about Diddy himself, but about the darker corners of the entertainment industry as a whole. As the case unfolds, questions continue to arise about which other high-profile figures might become entangled in the investigation and just how deep the web of complicity might reach. The rumors and speculation are widespread, with many fearing that powerful individuals might leverage their influence to shield themselves from the legal fallout. Diddy's position within both the music and entertainment industries has only complicated matters, as he is deeply embedded within a network of influential figures. Over the years, he has developed relationships with some of the biggest names in Hollywood, and this has raised concerns about the extent to which his connections may affect the legal process. As the legal proceedings advance, the public is left wondering how far these connections stretch and which other celebrities or industry figures may be implicated. Many speculate that some may avoid facing consequences, protected by their own networks of influence. The legal system, however, is tasked with unveiling how deep these connections go, and whether those around Diddy may ultimately bear responsibility for enabling or ignoring his alleged actions. According to Diddy's former bodyguard, the rapper's alleged misconduct can be traced back to the influence of his mentors within the industry. These individuals, including prominent figures such as Andre Harrell, Russell Simmons, and Clive Davis, are said to have played a role in shaping Diddy's views on behavior, particularly in their involvement with questionable treatment of women during their rise to fame. The bodyguard claims that Diddy's exposure to these influential figures, who were allegedly embroiled in similar misdeeds, normalized the idea that such behavior was not only acceptable, but could be sustained without consequences. The bodyguard's testimony suggests that Diddy, in particular, learned to operate within an environment rife with misconduct, which may have contributed to his own actions later in his career. The suggestion is that Diddy, influenced by these figures, believed he too could avoid any repercussions for his behavior. Legal experts have been quick to weigh in on the current status of Diddy's legal situation, emphasizing the seriousness of the charges and the difficult road ahead for his defense team. According to legal analysts, Diddy could face up to 15 years in prison if convicted on all charges, with some predicting even longer sentences due to the severity of the allegations. Experts point to the large amount of evidence gathered by the prosecution, which includes videos, photographs, and witness testimonies, many of which appear to corroborate the claims against him. The prosecution is expected to build a compelling case by highlighting a pattern of illegal conduct that spans several years, presenting a narrative of persistent misconduct. Legal experts note that the case against Diddy involves multiple aspects, including physical abuse, sexual misconduct, and possible obstruction of justice, which could make it harder for the defense to discredit or dismiss any one piece of evidence. The racketeering charge against Diddy is one of the most potent legal tools at the prosecution's disposal, as it presents him as the head of a criminal enterprise. Prosecutors are alleging that Diddy orchestrated and oversaw a wide-ranging operation that involved multiple illegal activities, including sex trafficking, coercion, and abuse. Legal experts have pointed out that proving the racketeering charge will allow the prosecution to introduce evidence from various incidents that, on the surface, may not seem directly related but ultimately form a broader pattern of criminal behavior. Witness testimony from numerous victims who have claimed to be victims of Diddy's actions could serve to reinforce this narrative, making it more difficult for the defense to argue that any one claim is isolated or without merit. In addition, the sheer volume of evidence, whether it's video footage, physical evidence, or witness testimony, will create significant challenges for Diddy's defense team, even if they manage to discredit a few individuals. While Diddy's defense lawyers prepare for what could be a grueling legal battle, the public's response has been overwhelmingly focused on justice for the alleged victims. Many feel that the charges against him, if proven, represent a long-awaited reckoning for powerful men in the entertainment industry who have long escaped accountability for their actions. One particularly vocal advocate for the victims, Jaguar Wright, has publicly called for a public spectacle of justice, demanding that Diddy be led into custody for all to see. She has expressed her desire for him to face the same humiliation and public scrutiny that many of his alleged victims endured, emphasizing that this case is about more than just Diddy. It is about holding influential figures accountable for decades of unchecked behavior. For Wright and many others, the case represents a broader cultural shift in the entertainment industry, where powerful men have long been able to evade the consequences of their actions. Despite the serious charges, Diddy's legal team is not giving up easily. They have proposed a $50 million bond, arguing that Diddy poses no flight risk and is willing to comply with strict conditions, including house arrest. His legal team has also emphasized that Diddy and his family have surrendered their passports, indicating their commitment to remaining in the country throughout the duration of the legal proceedings. The defense team's argument centers on Diddy's ties to the community, his family, and his business ventures, suggesting that he has no intention of fleeing or avoiding the legal process. However, given the weight of the evidence against him and the severity of the charges, the question remains whether the courts will grant him the freedom to remain out on bail or whether they will consider the gravity of the accusations and deny him release as the case unfolds. With each new development, the situation grows more complex, and it is clear that the fallout from these revelations could extend far beyond Diddy's personal and professional life, potentially reshaping the landscape of the entertainment industry itself. Many doubt whether the court will agree to the terms proposed by Diddy's legal team. Legal experts suggest that the prosecution's argument, which includes accusations of witness tampering and obstruction of justice, will likely influence the judge to keep him in custody as the trial progresses. Looking ahead, more revelations are expected as the trial against Diddy unfolds, with many anticipating even more shocking details to come to light. Some wonder if other figures in the entertainment industry, particularly those who were known to associate with Diddy during the height of his fame, will also be implicated in the investigation. While Diddy's legal team continues to push for his release on bond, it is clear that the weight of the evidence against him is substantial. The prosecution has amassed a formidable case, which includes video evidence, witness testimonies, and physical items recovered during the raids. Whether Diddy can mount a successful defense remains to be seen, but the coming months will likely see further developments in what is already one of the most high-profile legal battles in recent memory. For Diddy, this trial represents perhaps the most pivotal moment of his life. The charges against him go beyond individual incidents and paint a broader picture of a man who allegedly engaged in a wide range of criminal activities for years. If the allegations are proven true, he could face a lengthy prison sentence, potentially marking the end of his career. As more evidence continues to emerge and the trial moves forward, Diddy's fate will be determined not just by the courts, but also in the court of public opinion. For now, the world watches as the legal process unfolds, with many wondering if justice will finally be served for those who claim to have suffered at his hands.